Now let's talk about the opportunist role model. When it comes to being a role model of yourself, we're looking at a tripartite life process that is divided by expansion of your life's movie, as in you were born, and then at 30, we have a Saturnian return. Then we have a Uranian opposition, and then we have a Uranian phase. So there's three very distinct processes in your life where in the first 30 years, there would be a lot of mistakes in the sense of your body physically relating to specific people. So there is a difficulty in your first 30 years of learning. A fourth line personality mind suffers so much from the lack of ability to be able to discern cognitively who to invest in. So the most fundamental thing for you as a 4 is to understand that when you invest in other beings, there is this sense of potential for the return to come back to you. So the investment of your friendship, your influence, your capability, whatever that happens to bring, is that when you externalize your value to the other, there's this social currency or a social worth that comes back to you. And that's how you get to your life's work, purpose, fulfillment. So you're looking for something, basically. It's not necessarily directly from that person that you're investing in, but that person may leapfrog you to this other being or this opportunity at this job or that company, meeting this key player or whatever, as far as the process of attuning to the connective field that is part of your personal destiny. So by those things that you invest in, bringing you, paying you in dividends, paying you in spades maybe, to succeed as an opportunist, you have to know who to befriend or who's capable of reinvesting back into you in that dynamic of the relational capability. So your mind doesn't have the resources to be able to tell this person or that person. It's never about your mind's process as far as attempting to make a decision who's going to be worthy of this investment or that time connection. So sometimes you have to invest in people for a long time before the payoff comes. And it's not your mind's process. It's not up to your mental decision. It's a physicality or a personal process of being your own authority. What happens is because your mind is making decisions, you're investing in those people, jobs, places, whatever it happens to be, maintaining that relationship that is non-functional and draining to the detriment of your physicality and your physical well-being. So the relationships never bring the opportunity if you're making a mental decision because they were never right relationships in the first place. Maybe they were strangers that you were chasing and you were not designed to have that capability of initiating with somebody that you don't know or haven't been formally introduced to. So your life is always going to be focused mentally on a social dynamic, and through your social dynamic, fulfill whatever your purpose is, your personal destiny of your incarnative process and your capability. When we're looking at an opportunistic role framing, we're looking at what are you going to be able to do as far as the nature of you being dependent upon who you relate to, who you're connected to. The opportunities in life come to you through your network. And so Ra would recommend that you invest in building your network or supporting or empowering or sharing whatever it happens to be for you in your process. Now, on the body side, we have a role model, 6th line, that is about selfishness. This is something that has to be grasped for you because it is a transpersonal phenomena, but not out of yourself. It is transpersonal of the way in which you are attracting the social dimension to you. Because at a 6th line level, you are being absorbed in yourself, just simply processing, being, existing, presencing, being yourself, being self-contained and whole within oneself. And that inherent selfishness needs to be recognized about you. It's a selfishness that is not carry the negativity we normally associate with the word selfish. It is about being absorbed in embodying the nature of your process. If you cannot love you and being absorbed in yourself, you're never going to be fully self-contained or being able to have that presencing of being, witnessing, embodiment. And the thing about you as a role model is that the ideal is nothing to see, nothing, nowhere to go, nothing to be, just simply being present, awake and aware, like Buddha, as an example. So we're looking at now connecting these two. The opportunistic role model has a specific way in which you fulfill yourself. Your personal destiny is about the influence that you can have on others by simply being yourself. And now as we look to the nature of the color underneath this opportunistic process, you are mentally learning about how this expression of authority can be about the solidity of things, or the recognition, responding, impacting of the solidarity of things. So you're a teacher mind. And as an opportunistic teacher, you've got to get rid of the fear that is there by having a solid foundation. So being able to be very intelligent about the network. Because if you're unsure or uncertain, you're not going to be able to be successful, satisfied, peaceful, surprised if you don't have a solid foundation of things. So the proper level of learning is critical for you. So something has to be established within you, as in a foundational structure of understanding, recognition, resonating, the period process of experientially experimenting with things and being able to sense into the empowerment within you, the solid nature of things, so that you can be effective, satisfied, successful, peaceful, surprised, what have you. To be a teacher, you must be a student first. So you have to learn so much more than what you're going to teach, maybe 70% more than what you can actually put out there. Get it really solid and fundamentally core to your mental awareness, so that you investigate other beings before you make a decision. It is part of the nature of what your opportunistic nature is going to come to or come to grips with. As a being who is looking for the right associations, as in, if you don't have the right friends, you've got a problem, got an issue. So it's got to be about learning to the degree to which you resolve the insecurities that you have about the people in your life, investigating the other before you have any kind of process. You need familiarity. So more influence, the more other people know, like, and trust you, potentially, because you can very quickly learn or end up learning lessons the hard way about investing in the wrong people and finding out how quickly you're going to get into trouble or they'll get you into trouble if you're not investing your time, energy, money, whatever it happens to be, with the right beings. So correct relationships are going to take you to the right knowledge and the right place where you can develop your solid mental foundation, your solidity of things, to be able to begin your process of externalizing what you came here to put out into the world, to be of influence to the network. Now, the 6 line body, a role model with a color 1 teacher underneath, we now have a brain body system that is going to be oriented towards investigation as part of your selfish process. As far as your brain is really good at being able to do research, hold information together, focusing it, getting it out into the world. Teacher brain body, with a teacher mind, you're oriented to digging down deeply into things. And this is a one thing at a time determination. So instead of going into many different things at once, you don't want to multitask like that. You want to focus in on how you build a solid foundation of learning. In role modeling here, it's one thing at a time. So as an opportunistic teacher and role model teacher, what happens here is that color resonance, as always, when we have the color being exactly the same, means that you're inside of the box as far as the theme of a teacher is you're correctly built to express your outer authority, your motivational frequency of resolving fear so that you can be an outer authority for others. It, of course, has to be clear to you according to your own personal process and nature of what you came here to be. Your resonance to the first line themes of basic authoritarianism, foundation, expertise, all of that has to be very solid. So your brain is very much attuned to the details of things. To learn the details as a personality, particularly, is going to be something that you're really engaged with. Learning is a great theme for the fourth line quality, and that the color level is going to be about teaching, relational networking dynamics, and also the process of what can be trusted, who is trustworthy, or what is trustworthy. The sixth line quality is about embodiment. So giving the details out of what it takes to be your own authority, to be an outer authority, as examples. So influencing your brothers and sisters, your friends, your familiars, underneath, you're a teacher through and through. Now, when we shift to the color to guru, the guru is the ideal attunement or tastefulness or discerning process of what's precisely right for you. So you're very selective, very picky, very closed off on the deterministic side of things as far as food or information and people too. It's a very special brain-body system in that there's this narrowness so that only very specific things are being attuned to or coming into you. So you can suss things out, but you don't necessarily explain it. You have this naturalness of being able to attune to things, but it's not about digging into things like the first color brain body system was. Just discerning and having a tastefulness to the embodiment within you. Again, selfishness. The opportunistic teacher, as a role model guru, you're not going to be one of those teachers that can really get to seem to know your stuff necessarily, where other people kind of have to take a leap of faith to accept your teaching because physically you are simply a guru. It can be deeply profound, but it's not detailed. So your teacher personality consciousness really wants to dig into things, but there's nothing that you have to dig into physically. The narrowness of your attunement to whatever has been filtered by you, your brain-body system, is going to be correct for you according to the nature of your strategy. Because your brain doesn't like to dig in things, it's not about that necessarily. Your mind process may still have this opportunistic teacher quality, but it's outside of the box as a thinker. And so there's a uniqueness, a difference that comes as far as no backing of the teacher brain body, but it's natural as in, again, this leap of faith that other people are going to have to take in you if they're part of your fractal family or what part of who you're here to influence. When we shift from the color 1 to 2 on the mind side, now we have the opportunistic guru, and this is a hopeful motivation. Hope is knowing what to wait for and what not to interfere with, and seeing through the demons that ride your friends, things that are holding people back from embracing their true authenticity. So knowing how to stand back and accept that there are things outside of your control is one of the giftedness, the things that you are able to influence. So being aware that if you wait, you do eventually get the thing that is right for you. Whether you're initiating, manifester, responding, generator, when you have this capability of reflecting as a reflector, being aware, or as a projector, recognizing those things, knowing how to trust in yourself and also trust in time passing and waiting for right timing. Sitting by the riverbank, where I would say, waiting for the body of your enemies to float by, relying on the intelligence of attunement or this giftedness, this specialness, this quality of barrier around things that are not right for you. So you as a guru personality, you're here to influence the other according to the nature of your opening up the other to a call by recognizing whether or not the other person is ready for a call. A guru can find the weakest point in another and shatter the barrier, as in, like a guru might do. So what we're having here with the opportunistic guru, role model guru, is a brain-body system that is perfectly attuned or resonant to the mind's process. So there's a brain that's very restrictive, as well as a mind process that's also very having a very specific taste for things. And the mind and brain that is exactly the same way, discerning, picky, selective, means that there's a very narrow, we could say, focusing or potential for very specific things that we're waiting for. When you're operating correctly, your body has the capability of being in a place or in a time, a geometry where you're going to meet the right people and the right influences where you can in turn influence them. And this is an ability to see something in the other, the opportunity to see the demons that ride people and break the barriers that are holding them back from being what they came here to be. So as a 4-6, it's important to have critical, in fact, the right people in your life, and you're going to naturally attune to that. When we shift at the body level to the color 3 priest, we're looking at a hot-cold brain system, people that can role model heating things up or cooling things down. Now, this is a brain that is going to be able to find the point when it comes to the material plane. So there's going to be this drive inside for the material success. As an opportunistic guru with a role model priest body, you can see the difference here. It's being a friend who can really know how to control other people, because there's a lot of control potential there when you see the priest color underneath. And that is the shift of this brain body system that is so different between the mind and the physical process. When we shift over on the opportunistic side to the priest color, we're now seeing again an in-the-box thinker, the color of desire resonating with the unconscious priest energy. So a powerful motivational capability where the desire, when it's correct, it's locked inness, it's a swell or a pointedness, a fixedness of energy. So getting really locked into the material plane thing. Your line quality of being friendly, familiar, brother, sisterhood, but then underneath there is this pointedness to the leadership capacity, either leading yourself or leading the other. When you're locked into this desire for the material plane and to make it at the mundane game of money and all of those achievement things, worth and worthiness, value, whatever it happens to be for you. There's this drive to be able to achieve no matter what. Priests archetypally are the ones who are setting the rules on the material plane. Do this, don't do that. This is one of the things that we come into contact with seeing as far as the priesthood being about money or achievement or accolades or approval or whatever it happens to be according to the nature of your incarnative purpose. When we shift from the color 3 to color 4 prophet, now we see a role model prophet, brain body system who is designed to be, archetypally speaking, prophesizing, influential, externalizing at the color level. So it's an attunement to the sensitivity of the surroundings and how the surroundings, the environmental framing touches you. So this capability, this determination to being able to lead to the process of embodiment. And this is one of the things that you came here physically to do. And that can be married to the priest color, motivationally speaking, or we can look at the shift to the color 4 prophet. The prophet mind, personality, is based upon need, motivationally speaking. So an opportunistic process of the prophet, 4-4, you can see now we have 3 fourth qualities here. Line is 1, 2 colors, prophet, where we see a potential for easily moving into transference, particularly at the mind level, especially when one is not operating correctly. You won't be able to recognize precisely what is necessary. You'll be distracted by fear or whatever else is there as far as the motivational frequency being transferred to any other color as well. So what is necessary is actually designed to be the only thing that is externalized, not all that other extraneous stuff. So it's a very precise, honed in influence that you're designed to have. What is necessary, what is needed to get across to the network, either to empower, share, or support with your fractal family, your friends, your familiars. You as a prophet have a very strong capability of influencing those that you know, particularly at the 6th line body level, when you walk your talk or you live in full embodiment of role modeling what can be trusted. So this all requires a strong connection to others. 4th color needs that in-person influence. So the opportunistic prophet, you may be organizing community through common activity, common roles, as in, these are all my people, we are all getting together, and this is what we stand for, and this is what we embody. The one thing to always understand about prophets is that there are only prophets are only prophets for tribes or familiars, people like us do things like this kind of a thing. When you stop being a prophet for your own people, for your own tribe, you aren't going to have the same kind of influence. Your influence is limited to your community. In other words, your network, those that you know. This is why don't leave your network until you have another network. There has to be this continuity between either things or people. So if you don't operate correctly as this kind of 4-6, you can easily become a victim, get exhausted, people fatigue, run down immune systems. When we shift from the color 4 to the 5, we now see a quality of being a messenger. And this body is very sensitive to acoustics, sound frequencies. You as a role model messenger is here to embody putting out a call. So your brain-body system is very deeply your brain-body system is very deeply attuned and suited to being able to provide a message to the other, as long as your personality, your mind, goes along with it. If your mind is a color 4 prophet, it may be a little bit more difficult to do, but then the uniqueness comes out of you. If there's a shifting to the color 5 and you are an opportunistic messenger with a role model messenger body, now you have the guilt force that is perfectly designed by nature to be able to get your friends to change, to stand for the nature of what we need to be responsible for, responsibility being a key, or fixing being a key for the color 5. So your outer authority is here to get you to change your friends. And as a messenger, you really might try to change the world too. So through your network, those that you know, your influence may spread when your friends really speak highly of you and recommend you and refer you. So this is one of the keys to your success, is to create some kind of referral and reward system. It's true for all 4th lines, but particularly here at the 5th color level, this is going to be a strong capability of reaching outside the network through your network, if you know what I mean. So changing, fixing things. Your messenger quality always carries a universalizing potential, and this is one of the ways in which you can reach a larger, grander scale of things. When we shift over to the color 6 Buddha, body. We have a role model Buddha body, a repeating pattern you can see here between the frequencies. This is the light sensitive body. It's a brain that's less concerned about others, a very divine quality of selfishness, or being off to yourself, self-absorbed at a different level, an embodiment principle, what can and cannot be trusted. Trustworthiness is a critical factor and key for you. So to walk your talk, to be able to embody that higher principle, the unique quality of selfishness, of being perfectly you through and through, this unique life really is the point as far as your achievement of difference for your own personal destiny. When we shift over to the opportunistic Buddha, what we're looking at is a motivational frequency of innocence. Innocence is deeply selfish, self-absorbed, self-involved of the embodiment principle. There's no desire here to get your mind involved with other people. It is this deepest and most profound influence of being selfish, self-realized, self-actualized, as in there is this inner perfection of your existence. The outer world and the consequences of being in the outer world are not necessarily one of those things that your mind is driven to be about when you're in an aligned state. It's never what it's about to be desirous for the material plane business when it comes to being a Buddha color-wise. From the 4, 6, opportunistic Buddha, line 6, role model Buddha, we're looking at this driving to be whole completely within oneself, without the nature of other people getting in the way.